These rags from Walmart. They're pretty cheap, and they do pretty good for wiping up after you're done staining. I mean, wiping up your stain. Funny thing is, like, see how this one, how crooked it is? I like to cut them into quarters, but to fold it in half is ridiculous. Okay, look, and then the corners always fold over. So you gotta kind of just do your best to get it flattened out. I have OCD, so well, I don't really have it. Just like, I don't know if my fan is put a little air filter on the back of a $20 fan I got from Walmart, and it kind of helps get the dust that's in the air. I was sanding earlier. Okay. I mentioned the other day. I'll bring it back. Okay. That was my boss. She likes to start talking 10 minutes before she gets in the room, and I get mad about it here. I know it's taking forever. I take a long time to do stuff because I'm so particular. These rags. That's the only thing about them. They drive me nuts. The way some of them are so crooked. You can't get a nice square out of it to fold. I do this because when I fold them like this and put them in the file, they kind of stay flat. Otherwise, the edges curl up. Some stains that I use, the water-based ones especially, when you or any of the thicker stains that I use, when you got a folded edge, it kind of makes lines in the stain. So I try to keep them flat. Anyway, so I'm going to be using green. I made a tutorial on the green, how to stain with the green, a more in-depth, detailed tutorial. This is just a live. I've never done a live, so I want to see like what it's about. The green is very hard to use. It's one of the harder colors. I'm the only one that can do it. Not in the world. Maybe in the world. also a messy color because it's so thick. All right, so I'm doing these two. I sell both of these on my Etsy page. Shameless plug. They're already finished on the Etsy page. I sell these raw. If you want to get one and stain it yourself, you can buy a set of 3 of these. Which this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have one with a 4, and then one with only 3. So they go up in size. This is the big one. And this one I only sell finished. If you guys would like these in a raw, let me know. I just kind of put these up there to test out the raw thing, see how much people like them like that. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, how thick this stuff is. It's like almost like a pudding consistency, and it's not like an oil where it slides well. Let me get a brush. Sorry, I have to keep reaching in front of the camera. I get these brushes from Walmart. These are the premiums. They're a little softer. I also have they also sell a regular one. It's a little stiffer. First, this is the hard one. You start with the sides, get up in that groove. This stuff's really hard because it dries so fast, and you barely have time to work with it. So I kind of put it on a little thicker so that it takes a little longer to dry. If you put it on too thin, it'll dry before you get a chance to wipe it. And then I normally do one step at a time, meaning one of these layers. So then I'll put it on like that. I'm gonna take my rag, turn it, wipe it off. Wipe off this. You see, I don't know. I feel like this one's a little drier. And almost a little darker. I don't know if you can see it in the picture. Because it was on just a few seconds longer than this one. So that's why I usually do them one at a time. This is only the green that does this. And if you get something like that on there, you want to wipe it off as soon as possible. That'll show through. I go this way on the sides because you don't want to overlap the front too much. Because it's like, I don't know if you ever drew something with a marker. It'll stay dark along the edge. It's alive. My boss is back. You might want to put it inside of the charger. And then you just like feel like the dentist when he's flossing your teeth. Right? And then pull it down. I'll try to show you in a minute, but this thing has lines in it. The rag has a texture to it. I don't know if you can see that in the video. they go this way. So if I wipe this thick stain that way, it leaves lines, and so I have to make sure I have it turned the right way to where the lines are going this way, so it doesn't leave the lines in it. And I start like this. I go this way. Yours is going to be the black. Sorry, I meant to get it. You got to be careful. I don't know if you can tell when if you overlap this stuff, it just darkens each time you overlap it. Where some stains will, you won't really notice if you go back over a section. This one really shows. So whenever I get it on the side, I try to wipe it off right away. You'll still see that. It'll look like it's outlined. Yeah, these are tedious to do. Do not like doing the green, but they come out so nice. Last little section, I come to the edge, sides. I do mountains this color, and it's not all these different layers, so it's a lot easier to do. You just go down one little thing. But because of these layers and these trees, it's really
The stick.
the what?
The stick.
Oh, I don't know what happened to it. You know, maybe look over here. I don't think it's up here. Oh, is this it right here? She's doing a different color down there. See, those are gonna show through. You gotta be careful. I hate doing the sides. I like doing the fronts, but the sides are so tedious. Any other stain, I just do it on the whole thing at once. But this green, it's crazy. I like using these smaller premium ones because they seem to be pointier and they're easier to get up inside of there with these thick stains. See what a mess I made? Not being very careful. I somehow got it all over the place. Just gotta do the bottom. What is nice about this green is you really can clear coat it in an hour. Actually less, but they tell you an hour. Now for the fun part. I go really fast. I just keep it moving so it doesn't get dry. Don't put it on too thin or it'll dry it too fast on you. Because it's so thick, you gotta make sure you get in these little edges and corners and stuff, or else you'll have a lot of dry spots. So just keep it moving. So it doesn't dry, come all the way down. And then you want to wipe it in a consistent pressure. And it'll actually do all the shit. Like if you push down, you'll see where your fingers were. You can see it started to dry on these edges. See that? Now it's dark on the edges. You can go back over it with wet stain and then give it a second and it'll take that off. That's not too bad. I'm not too worried about that. But that's how fast it dries. I mean, it's just almost dry. The rag is like sticking to it. Like if I drag it across it, it's pretty much dry already. So now let's do the other side. I always get my rag ready. The time it takes just to get to the right side of your rag and dry. You know we're busy when the boss is in here helping me. I should do live more often. She's really quiet right now. She's yelling at me. Keep it moving. Get right to it. There we go. You can kind of see under there. I don't know if you can see it. Nobody's really going to notice it. But you can see where I had got some on there in certain spots before I stained it. But yeah, that's the green. I really like the way it looks on it with the grain in the wood. Much better than if you just painted it green. What's the point of, to me, it's like, what's the point of using wood if you're just gonna paint over it? And so here's this one. These ones are a lot easier because there's only one groove. Show them the black. She just did the black ones. That's the same one as this, but in black. And show them and that's a fatter one. I sell all these on the Etsy page in these colors and more. I have, I think, about 8 colors now. I got a blue we just recently added. That's really nice. It's like a navy blue with dark blue. Now I brush out like that, but you got to make sure you go this way, because when you go to wipe it off, it'll actually show streaks this way. You'll see like lines feathering out. I'm going to go down. Nice even pressure. See how I overlapped? I got to make sure I get that off. Yeah, you did a T8 and a T7. You can do the red ones now if you want.
You have oh, is this the one that's supposed to be for me?
Yeah. No, that's not it.
Oh.
Where was that?
Over here?
The one that's supposed to be for you is in there.
Okay.
It's a
3?
Yeah, a 3.
I gotta do it the other box. Are these into Fridays or no?
No, none of these are Fridays.
Alright, let me get the other box.
See where I kind of overlap. That might show up. You see where it kind of dried up on me down at the bottom here, because I stupidly wiped the last part. I stained this first, then that section, but I wiped this section, then that section. So this one kind of dried in a few seconds. Now, like I said, I could go over this again. Like, you see how that's dried up there? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna take some of this green and put it on wet over it, and then really, really quick wipe it with a lot of pressure. And sometimes it works. That time I just darkened it. So it must have dried much more than I thought. But sometimes you can get it to come off if you do that. fun part. Keep it moving. Keep it pushing. Fast, even. Take your rag. That's that side. Nice green on these ones. I'm worried about this one because I got it home and I don't know if you can see it in this light. I tried to sand most of it out, but it had cracks through it. It looked like cracks in the wood. It was really weird. I never had that before. Really pretty grain, but it had some weird stuff going on in it. I had another one I did with dark walnut. Dark walnut in the oil based is a great stain if you have a good piece of wood, but it has a lot of depth to it. It gets anywhere from a light brown to almost a black. It's such a dark brown. So if you when you're doing stuff like this, if you have stuff like that, the cracks turned out black because it actually went into them. It goes into the what it is the denser the wood, the lighter the color. That's how the stain works. So when you use that dark walnut, if you have some really soft spots in the wood, they turn almost black. So that's that. This green is just coming out beautiful. There's those two. Okay, I'm gonna bring these and put them on. I have a drying board. See, I can already touch them. That's how dry they are. Okay. You might want to check up in the corner before you're done. Sometimes it cakes up in there. But that was good. I'm gonna go put these on my drying rack. I'll be back and I'll do a different color. Okay, let me see what my next color is going to be. Weather gray. This is water based, so you don't have to worry about throwing the rags in the trash like you do with the other stain. Oh, you're pulling it for me? I'm going to do weather gray, another one I like. Let me put these two away. Get them out of the way. But don't put it right here because I got a bunch of green here. Cheap on paper. Did you already get the stain?
No.
This is the weather grade. This is a lot easier to use. And it's the premium. It's a Varathane, so they don't sell it at, they used to sell Varathane at Home Depot. Now they don't. You can get it on their website, but you can't walk into Home Depot and get it anymore. Any of these Varathane premiums. They have some of the other Varathane, just the regular, but the Varathane premium, which is 3 times faster, 1 coat, dries in 1 hour. You have to get this online, and you have to order it in 2 cans at a time, unless you get it off of Amazon. Amazon sells it, but it's so expensive. I think one of these at the store was only like $10 back when they were at Home Depot. And on Amazon, I think they sell them for like $20, $23. So you can still get them from Home Depot, but you have to buy 2 at a time now because they ship them to you. But this stuff, it works really good. Any of these premiums, if you're just starting out staining, these are the easiest things to stain with. They come out really good. They're not blotchy as compared to the oil-based, but they're not very, there's not a lot of depth to the color. So it's just like gray. And I mean, it's not just gray paint, but it's like the oil-based dark walnut, like I was just talking about, has like black all the way to a light gray. Where this is just, I mean, light gray, light brown, where this is just gray. And then in the areas that it's not gray, it's not gray. It's not really, I don't know, what will be the word for that?
I think you said it right. There's not a lot of depth to it.
Yeah, so anyways, these are all the ones right here?
Yep. You can double check.
So I got all these to do with a gray. Let me just double check. Not that the boss is ever wrong, but if I get it wrong, it'll be my fault. I like this. She lets me say whatever I want when I'm on live. She doesn't say anything. Okay. These are my mountains that I sell on Amazon also.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Etsy, not Amazon. I don't know if I've been saying Amazon.
No. That's what I would say.
So anyways, these are the mountains that I sell. I put peaks on them after they're done. They come in, it's 2 different sizes, but you get a set of 3. And then these are the larger ones. I'll do a tutorial on how to make these pretty soon, but this is how they are. I also have another listing on Etsy where you can mix and match them. You can just get like something like this if you want. I have different sizes than even these. I have a couple other sizes in there. I think I have six sizes total.
Yeah, and 6.
So this is just 4 of the different sizes. So there's 2 other sizes that I don't have here. So a lot of times when you get wood, it has little stuff like this in it, little gray spots in the wood. You can see it went all the way through. You can see it actually went through the wood. I don't know if this is too bright. You can see it actually went through the wood. Let's see if I can. I usually save these for when I have a gray color. So a lot of times I take these rags that I cut into quarters, and you have the scissors? The boss always hiding stuff on me. and I cut off a little section. And that's what I stained with instead of using the brushes. The brushes just hold too much stain. They're good for some of the thicker stain. But some of the stains like these, they show them the red. She's doing some reds. See how good those turn out. That's a barn red. It's really easy stain to use. It's a lot easier than the green. This has been my bad luck color. I shouldn't say that because I don't want to jinx myself. This color I spilled on the floor. Oh, that was dark walnut I spilled, huh?
No, it was
It was,
gray, wasn't
oh,
it?
carbon gray. Yeah, carbon gray. I went to shake it up, and the lid was off, and I threw it all over one of my I had a new shirt on, and I had a new one of these apron. So it's easier if you want to use a brush with this, with these trees, because you can get in the grooves better. Otherwise, I just put a little on the corner, and I put it into there. You can see, but it's still not even getting into the very corner, so I gotta load a little bit more up. Like I said, the only reason I used the rag is because it was cheaper. I was going through a lot of brushes, and I only use them now for the darker colors, or the thicker, I should say, not darker colors, the thicker stains. Because the rag it just won't. So as you can see, this is a nice gray. I like it. I like the lighter gray. This is another fast drying, not nearly as fast as the green, but it's still pretty fast. And then I wipe it right off. Now, I can tell right away this is a soft wood because it's just almost like a solid gray on the sides now. You don't have to worry about that with the gray. You can kind of tell how the stain's going to react to your wood by when you do these sides. That's why another reason I like to do the sides first. You can kind of see the lines through it, but not that good. So that means it's going to really suck into the wood, and I don't have to leave it on for a long time. I can gauge how long to leave it on for. If it wipes right off, that means your wood's pretty dense and not that dry. What colors after this? Carbon gray?
I think so, yeah.
The one issue that I found with the carbon gray and the weathered gray, a couple of different of the stains that I use, a couple of the different stains that I use, is when you're staining. Now, when I go to do the sides, you can see I'm putting my fingers all over this. When I go to do the front and back, I'll be holding it on these, and then later on, it doesn't seem to dry right where your fingers were. So it leaves fingerprints when you do the clear coat. Like if you wait, I usually clear coat the next day because I use a water-based clear coat. And even though this says dry in 2 hours, a lot of them will say longer if you're using a water-based clear coat, because it doesn't react with the oil very well. So I try to hold them where I'm not pressing my fingers into them. Otherwise, it'll leave fingerprints, and you won't even see them. But when you go to clear coat,
Even
wherever
with your
you're,
gloves.
huh?
Even with your gloves.
Yeah, even with your gloves, when you go to clear coat, it'll have like a light spot. So this, I just wipe it on real quick. And then wipe it right off. Now you can see it, it's not a whole lot of contrast to it. It's just gray. There's not like darker gray in here and then lighter gray. It's just either gray or not. I mean, it's a little bit of a contrast, but not like when you use some of the oil-based. But it's very forgiving for your first, if you're beginning, if you're just starting out. It's very easy to work with. It doesn't blotch. It, other than that fingerprint thing, which I'm not holding this right. Weather gray is not as bad if you want to. With that whole fingerprint thing, but if you want to make sure, you can go back and wipe the sides where you think you might have touched it too long. You could touch it for a second, but if you hold it there while you're standing, is when you start to have problems. So I just do another wipe, and then bam.
Did you do the dark walnut or no?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't do the dark walnut yet.
No, oh, you don't have to do that. You could just do. When is that one?
Tuesday. Well, I was gonna do the carbon gray. I could do the. That's all that's left is the carbon gray and the dark walnut.
Okay, whatever one you want to do.
Well, I'll start with carbon. And then this one's mine.
Yeah, that one.
I'm gonna do it carbon gray. Also.
That's what you want? Carbon gray? What are you gonna do? Bring it to work?
If I brought it to work, I would do the brown. But
No, I was just wondering what you're doing. If you're gonna put it up here or bring it to work. My wife likes to bring this stuff to work and tease her coworkers. No, she just likes to display it in her office.
I put it on. Did I hit it?
Uh, lift him up here for a second? Is he still in here? This is my helper. My helper. Are you helping? So this is the weather gray again. Looks really nice. See that green? I really like the grain on these. When you're picking grains, when you got those dark spots, they're probably going to stay like they are. They're the ones that are going to stay not stained. And sometimes you can get some that have a lot of those dark spots, and it'll leave a lot of dark areas in your skein. If you like that, if you want to have some brown in it and gray. I just cut one up. Oh, you did a lot already, huh? See, that's the gray. Here's a carbon gray. It's a little bit darker. I don't know if you can tell in the lighting. And it's all dusty right now, so it might be right. Now for the mountains, these are easy. They're so much easier than the trees. People are like, why do you charge so much for the trees? And it's like a lot more labor that goes into them because of the shape of them, and I gotta glue them. So here's the mountains. Too much light coming in. Let me practice it. I don't know if it's a lot of light to you guys, but in my video, it looks like it's a ton of light. Washed out. So these are the mountains. This is the gray one. Normally, if I can help it, I don't hold it on the spots, but I'm doing a video on messing up. There's that one. He look really good with the white peaks against the gray. What color are you doing? Carbon gray?
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool looking grain. This is gonna look pretty neat. See, when you get these big things like this with the oil base, the contrast in the colors is really, really cool. The different the range of colors that you get, and you'll have like there's lines in the grain that could come even from the sander because I go in the same direction. I always go with the grain. I don't know if you can see those lines in here, but those come out like a darker black. What's wrong? So there would be one set of the mini mountains. And then I normally put the peaks on them. I'll put a link to them in the description if I know how to do that. I'll show you the big ones. I'll skip it.
Can you show that?
Huh?
Can you show that?
Sure. There's the carbon gray. You can tell it's a little darker than the weathered. And then there's the black one she did earlier. That's the darkest. Them three colors look good together. The carbon gray, the weathered gray, and the black. So here, these are the big mountains. See that? That looks pretty cool. It's pretty cool grain. Gotta flip this side out. This has a cool grain to it, and it's really hard to tell until you start staining stuff, but I don't know if you can see it in the video. This gray, like I said, it's very forgiving. But when I do this with the dark walnut, there's a lot of blotchiness to it, and like a wave pattern to it that I don't like. Even though it's a really nice grain. It's almost beneficial if you get a stick of wood to do a test on it before you spend all that time cutting mountains and trees and sanding them, and then you go to stain it and it just comes out bad. I can see a little bit of dark areas in here, but like I said, these premium stains are much easier to use, and I'm not getting paid to say that or anything. I wish I was. that brown. If you notice like this one right here, I think it's the same as this. Let me wipe this dust off so you can see this. This one didn't have very much brown in it. It had a lot of lines, but they were just thin lines, so they didn't come out like this, where you get the thick banding. Sometimes you can't always find the wood like this, nice wood. So you really got to look. I mean, it's not bad. I like this one, but I really like not everybody likes it, but I like the brown banding in it. I like my banding like my women, brown and thick.
What's up, buddy?
What are you doing, buddy? Is that Sam? Almost been on an hour. This one's hard to stain without holding it in your fingers. You can put it like this. A lot of times it slides out. Sometimes I'll clamp something to the table and lean it against it, like if I'm doing a carbon gray. So that's not too bad. It's not as thick as this one, but it's still not too bad. It still looks pretty good. It's better than a lot of other stuff I've seen. It's really hard to find good wood at Home Depot and stuff, but I don't have a whole lot of options by me. So I'm gonna try to make sure I didn't mess up the side, so I'm gonna wipe them off the back. Drying again. Move it around. This side. Trying to prevent that fingerprint thing. One more set of mini mountains. Who was it?
Tim.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got somebody that, oh, you left it.
We got puppies in there that can come in here and steal stuff off the ground. Bring it in the living room and shred it. They can find something on the ground no matter what you do. I'll sweep this whole garage and they'll come in and find something that I missed and bring it in the house. This morning I was eating an apple and I took the sticker off of it and I threw it in the trash, and it must not have went in there because one of them had it in their mouth. My rag's getting full, but I don't want to switch because I'm almost done. Let's find some dry spots. See, then you have stuff like this. I don't know if you can see that in the wood right there. I don't know why it's doing that, but just out of the blue. It's cut from the same piece that this is, but this one, for some reason, had this mark there. Wood can be a pain in the butt. I really like this one. Got a nice density to it. Got some weight on it. I like the green, especially for mountains. It's got the nice wavy lines in it. So there you go, weathered gray. So how quick I did those compared to the two greens I did. I'm gonna bring these in to steam. I mean to dry. A little drying station. And then what other colors we got?
Just dark walnut.
And then I got one more color, dark walnut.
One tree.
Oh, it's only one?
Uh-huh.
No more Taco Bell for you while I'm filming. Now, now for the infamous dark walnut that I've talked so much about. Look at this guy. Look at this little. He's gonna help. It's a T3.
I believe so.
I mean, throw this in the trash. Swap my paper. I get this craft paper from Walmart too. It's cheaper than Home Depot. What is it for a roll? Like a couple bucks?
Usually $3 or $4.
Yeah, like $3 or $4 for a roll. Lasts me for a pretty long time. Let me look at my list real quick. Yeah,
Will you mark mine off?
I'm gonna stay first forever. Kind of, I don't think anybody wants to see me mark it off. These are actual walnut trees. I made these out of walnut. It's really expensive wood. It's $4 a foot or something like that. It's like more than $4 a foot, almost $5 a foot. So I think I got a 3-foot piece. So that's like what, $12, and I made 3 trees for $12. I made this is the pine, obviously, but I made these 3 sizes. The other one's inside. It was the first one I made, just to do a test. I don't have those on the Etsy because I'm afraid not everybody knows that dark or the real walnut is that much money. And I already get people saying that this is too much money. Did you cut them all up? Oh, you're all right. She's better at doing the stuff like cutting up the racks because she's not as OCD. She'll hack them up and then I'll just use them. But if I do it, I'll spend an hour. Like you have to watch me do in the beginning. So here's the dark walnut. It's another messy one, but it's very a lot more liquidy than that green is. So I do the same thing. I use a little rag, cut it off.
Okay.
Fold it up. This is just a regular classic stain, so it's hard to use. I've tried this in the premium, and it doesn't come out as good. It's a much smaller spectrum of colors. So this is, I can tell, a pretty dense wood because you got to watch with the dark walnut. I shouldn't have left it there like that. This can's so low, it's really hard to get the rag in there. I think this wood's going to do good with this because you can see the lines from the grain wood, so it didn't come out solid, dark brown. That's a good sign. This one you got to be careful because it bleeds around the sides. So if you put too much, it'll bleed over like that, and that'll show. So the top one came out with a little bit of a.
Alright. I'm gonna stop.
Okay. So with the gray, I could just do all the lines and then come back and finish it off. But you can't do that with this because it will stay really dark in that spot, and then when I come down, you'll see the difference when I wipe it out. Side grain is always hard to stain. It really sucks up the stain. There we go. Let me just wipe this out real quick. Looks good. And you see where it got really dark in them lines? That's what I'm talking about. If you have scratches in it or anything, it comes out dark. So when I sand all the same direction as the grain, it'll leave lines sometimes with the grain, but it looks pretty good. That's why I like doing everything with the grain rather than using an orbital sander. So don't let it puddle up anywhere. Keep it really even. Move fast. Then go back, take it off. So can you see? I first started down here, so you can kind of see it puddle there, and it left it dark. That's why this is dark. It's not very forgiving, but this actually came out pretty good. You can see a little bit of contrast. It's a little dark. I don't have a lot of the lighter browns, but it still looks good to me. You get some pieces of wood where there's some really light browns, and then not counting meat parts, and then it gets really dark, and then you get some black lines. It looks really cool. So that's that side. Let me do this side real fast. Don't let it puddle. Come all the way up. Come back down. That should be good. Start taking it off. That came out good. You see the different contrast? Can you see how the edges of the grain are really dark and then they lighten as they go out? This grain is really small stripes. If you have a wider grain, you really notice it a lot more because you have a wider distance to do. But this still looks really good. I really like the way this turned out. I like to have different pieces of wood where I have a wider grain, tighter grains. It all looks good when you put it together. If you do a display of trees and you have them all differently, you know, different colors and different grain patterns, as long as you have a grain pattern when you're picking out your wood. So that's my last color I got to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this, whoever came into the chat, into the live, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to leave this on the page. I hope this helps. People were asking me about how to stain. I did a video. I'm going to post it on how to stain it. It's probably a little bit more in depth because it's edited and it's not as long as this. Not nearly as long. This is 80 minutes. But I wanted to try out the live, see if you guys like it. And it's a lot easier than editing the video. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. To my channel. I don't know how to stop it. So I just hit the X up in the corner.